Hey guys, welcome back to Python Ninja Bootcamp. In this lecture, we will cover inheritance. Let's get started. Inheritance is a process of creating a new class by using the feature of existing class. The new class is called as derived class and the existing class is called as base class. Let's see the general syntax of inheritance. So here we have class, base class name, and class, derived class name, inside parenthesis, base class name. This will allow derived class to access the feature of base class. Base class is also called as superclass and parent class. Derived class is also called as subclass and child class. Students are hereby requested to download the file of this lecture from the description given below. Let's go ahead and see the example to understand how inheritance works. I'm gonna create a class A and inside it define the init method after colon. Inside this print a message class A init method. Now create a derived class. So I'm gonna say class B inside parenthesis put in A to inherit the feature of class A. Now I wanna leave this class for time being, so I could simply put in the pass statement and it will skip the class without showing any error. Now I'm gonna create an object for derived class and access the feature of the base class. So if I say object1 equal to class B, it will execute the init method of the class A first and display the message class A init method. Now create the init method for derived class. So I'm gonna say def init self. Inside it print a message class B init method. Now if again I run this shell, it will execute only the init method of class B and display the message class B init method. That means if you create the object of derived class, it will first try to find the init method in the derived class. If it is not found, then it will call init method of base class. But what if I want to call the init method of base class A? I could use super function to call the init method of base class A. So I'm gonna say super.init method. Now if I again run this shell, it will execute the init method of class A first and after that it will execute the init method of class B and display the message class A init method, class B init method.
Mayank sir, could you please elaborate super function for one more time?
Okay class, let's understand what's happening here. When we use super function, it will access all the feature of the base class. In our case, we are calling init method of the base class A. Now let's create a display method in class A. So I'm gonna say def display inside parenthesis self colon and print the message class A display method. Run this shell and if I say object1 dot display method, it will return the message class A display method. Now let's create a method in class B. So I'm gonna say def display inside parenthesis self colon and print a message class B display method. Now if I run the shells again, it will return the message class B display method. But what if I want to call the display method of a base class A? I could use super function to call the display method of a base class A. So I'm gonna say super function dot display method. Now if I run the shells again, it will display the class A display method and class B display method.
Mayank sir, could you please give me one more example of the inheritance?
Okay class, I'm gonna take the same example as we have seen in the previous lecture. So I'm gonna say class student and inside it define init method with the attribute as name, roll number and percentage. Now initialize each values. So I'm gonna say self.name equal to name, self.roll number equal to roll number, self.percentage equal to percentage. Now define a result method to check whether the student is pass or fail. So I'm gonna say def result inside parenthesis self. Now if self.percentage is greater than 30 colon print pass, else print fail. Now create a derived class branch for determining student branch. So I'm gonna say class branch inside parenthesis put in student to inherit the feature of class student. Now create the init method for derived class. Let's say def underscore underscore init underscore underscore and pass base class attributes along with the branch attribute. So I'm gonna say name, roll number, percentage and branch. In order to initialize the attribute of base class student, I'm gonna say super function dot init method and pass the attributes of base class, that is name, roll number and percentage. Now after that initialize the branch. Let's say self dot branch equal to branch. Now I'm gonna create an object for derived class and access the feature of base class. So let's say ob2 equal to branch inside parenthesis pass attribute as tumta for name, 1 for roll number, 90 for percent and CSC for branch. Now I'm gonna use ob2 to access all the feature of base class and derived class. So now print the output for name, roll number, percentage and branch. If you notice here, it will return tumta 190 from the base class student and CSC from the derived class branch. In order to access the result method of base class student, I'm gonna say ob2.result and it will return pass. That's all about inheritance. See you in the next lecture. Students, subscribe करें SN Gurukul channel को. Press the bell icon to see the latest tutorial. Comment करें to give your valuable feedbacks and suggestions. Next video में हम cover करेंगे Q&A for till then practice and thank you for watching.